Welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Oyinka Salajinadu. Welcome to Dr. OJ Speaks. If this is your first time on this channel, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification because every week we are bringing you amazing conversations with phenomenal human beings. Today's episode is sponsored by HD Pro Global Beauty Institute and Body Med Spa. This organization offers trainings and certifications and several med spa services. Get with them on hdproglobal.com, but don't forget to thank us later. Now, for today's show, my guest today is an amazing young lady. February is Black History Month, and this is our final episode for the month of February in 2021. Not only is it Black History Month, it is also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. As the president and founder of the Honey Drops Foundation, domestic violence is a big issue that I am deeply passionate about, providing real-time adaptable solutions to our youth and families to live beyond this issue. I am especially focused on our youth, our young people, because they are the future. My guest today, Maurecia Bessman, is a phenomenal young lady who has been partnering with the Honey Drops Foundation as a global youth advocate, a public speaker who shares a lot of insight on advocating for her peers against teen dating violence. I cannot wait for you guys to hear from her. This is going to be an amazing show. So stay tuned and I will be right back. Welcome to Dr. OJ Speaks, Marika. Our audiences, our viewers are really excited to meet you. I told them a little bit about you. You know, you're such an amazing young lady. And I am super, super excited to have you on the show this week on Dr. OJ Speaks. Yes. And it is amazing because this month of February is a very critical month for us, you and I, being a youth advocate with the domestic violence organization that I am the president of, which is the Honey Drops Foundation. But also, you are an amazing young woman yourself. So I want you to take some time to just reintroduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, so my name is Marika Bessman. Thank you for having me. So yeah, like she said, I worked with her in the Honey Drops Foundation during our Teen Dating Violence Awareness conference, and it was really great. But a little bit about myself, something that I guess I really take pride in is just that I'm really happy to like help people and just like, you know, be there to just give whatever I can. And so basically I'm in 11th grade. This is my junior year in high school. I go to Trinity in Euless, Texas. I'm a student teacher. So basically I take a class where I'm doing student teaching, and that's something I really love. So that's something that I like to like, you know, tell about myself, just because they like highlight some of the things I really like to do. And like, yeah. So yeah, that's that's a little bit about myself.
You were phenomenal at the conference. You were one of the speakers at the youth conference that we concluded December 2020. And that was our very first global youth conference where we discussed, you know, teen dating violence. And we talked about a lot of ways that young people could be the voice of solution. And you were one of the speakers. I was so moved by your story, and I really haven't gotten over it. And I'm just like impressed by your leadership and how you're taking steps to be a role model to other young people. And you just mentioned that you are a student teacher. So I used to be a teacher, right? So you know, I'm all for that. As an educator girl, you go girl, because we need a lot of committed educators in the system. So super, super proud of you, and definitely will be looking forward to doing some more work with you in 2021.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Black History Month. This is going to be the final episode for Black History Month. You and I, we have a lot of commonalities in the sense that we're both females. We are both immigrants in the United States. We're immigrant Americans, if you want to put it that way. We belong to a lot of demographic that puts us in categories that, just the system considers us as minorities. And as we celebrate Black History Month in 2021, one of the biggest messages that I have had in this month is, how is your Black life? How does your Black life matter? We talk about Black Lives Matter. We have a lot of social justice movements and things like that, which I completely support and get behind a lot of those movements. But one of the things that I'm thinking of as a thought leader is, how does our Black life really matter? Is it just when we carry placards or when we get on social media and rant and talk about issues and highlight the problems more and more? Because with Black History Month, we tend to look back into the history of how the people of color have gotten to where they are today. But I'm a huge advocate of looking into the future. And you are the future. You, Marika Bessman, for me, you represent the future that I am super interested in investing a lot of myself into, to create a new system that allows you guys to be positioned for success and influence. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So it's just, I feel like there's just so much that goes in line with Black History Month. But just to talk about how you're saying that we're like American immigrants, like, or not, or we come from different places, and I think that also I'm happy to say that my parents are immigrants and that they came from a different place, because I also get to see both sides of like immigrants and like different minorities outside of America, and then also minorities in America. So like growing up here, like I understand more what it means to like say Black Lives Matter, because it's not like, so, sometimes a lot of times with immigrants, sometimes I guess we tend to not like really see, like we don't look too much into things that are like American, like we just stay in our own circle. Yeah, so I think that growing up here, but also having immigrant parents, let me see both sides of Black America and also outside countries. But to talk about Black History Month, I think this year is like one of the greatest like years like that we've done with Black History Month, because I feel like so much has led up to this month that makes the younger generation like more appreciative of Black history. So before, I would say like, before, obviously all this stuff isn't new, all these protests, the reason why we're doing these protests, they're not new, but like 2020 really like highlighted some things and really woke up the younger generation, my generation, to see our importance and how we can stand up for our culture and like just Black culture in general. So I think that's why this Black History Month is one of the greatest that I can remember, because it's more of us actually voicing out our opinions and like voicing out that we care about our African American culture. And it's not just something that we look at as, okay, yes, it's Black History Month again, but no, like we're actually, being more invested in actually putting our hearts into it. So I love that about this year, especially. So that's what I'll say about it.
That is amazing. Before we go on our break, I just want to ask you real quick. So, given that you are now aware as a young person, you are a teenager. I'm not going to put your actual age out there, but you're a teenager in the 21st century in 2021. Given the fast pace that the world has evolved and changed, and you guys, your upbringing is a lot different from the way we were raised. And I have a lot of concern, and my heart really goes out to your generation and generations coming after you, because I feel like you guys are being put in a position where it's not as easy for you to have your childhood like we did. You guys have to move at a faster pace. Black History Month for you, you said, means something more significant. What are two things that the current situations in the world have made you more aware and you are really implementing in your personal space as a leader to not only educate your peers, but to really showcase your African, I don't want to say your African culture, but just your heritage and your position and your stance as a Black female in this time?
So throughout, like, once COVID hit during 2020, I realized that for me personally, it was like really a wake up call, not only to like just things that were going, but it just made me want to become like, it made me look at myself and said, I want to be a better person and I want to like actually do something. I don't want to just sit there and like, and not make any type of change. So, I then also like also within that I start to see more things that people weren't aware of, in the sense that a lot of people out inside of African American culture, outside of African American culture, like some people just didn't know a lot of like basic thing, like to us like this is like common sense, but to some people it wasn't, like this is like new to them. And so like yeah, it's just like it's new. And then so things that have to do with African American culture and African culture, I felt like that made me want to actually, you know, embrace my heritage and like actually, you know, stand up for it and be like, okay, this is what it is. So people don't just look around like, okay, this is like, why I didn't know this was it, because like I'm the one voicing it, like this is what it is. And now like I'm here to explain to you what the difference between this is, the difference between that is, just like actually being a voice. Because a lot of times, like I remember I'll be having conversations with my sisters, my cousins, and all that, and we'll be talking about stuff that, you know, we know, but then a lot of people like don't really understand these like different concepts that are inside African culture or African American culture. Some people didn't understand those things, and so for me, I'm just like, if we can talk about this stuff inside our own circle, it should be easy for us to go out there and talk to other people who don't know these things or don't understand these concepts, you know? So I think that's what really woke me up, and like, especially with last year, that's what woke me up saying, okay, now it's time for you to actually voice out how you feel and what, not only how I feel, but the facts of your culture and others, you know, other like culture that align with yours. So that's what really woke me up and actually made me think, okay, now we actually need to talk about this. We need to voice this out and all that. So
That is
yeah.
amazing. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate. So for you, your Black Life Matters because you are now more aware of being able to educate other people,
Uh-huh.
especially our African American brothers and sisters, how African culture is really significant and the things that you know and you're aware of. You know, there's a lot of misconception about being African and being African American. Now we're supposed to begin to bridge that gap with the knowledge and information we have. That's amazing. I'm super, super proud of you. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back and we're going to pick the conversation right up because I have a lot more questions for you to answer. Oh, super excited. All right, we'll be right back with Marika, guys. Hey, welcome back, Marika. Thank you so much for being here with us. So, we're going to continue our conversation. Black History Month is still here. This is going to be our final episode, and I think it's amazing that you are the final guest for the month of February because not only is February Black History Month, it is also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. I don't know if you were aware of that. And being a global advocate with the Honey Drops Foundation, you've already assumed that leadership role whereby you're fully responsible for educating and advocating for and with your peers. So, with your experience from the conference in 2020, now we're here in 2021 discussing this same issue in this month of February. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you talked about, being able to educate your peers who are African American about the authentic African culture. And that's one of the reasons why I have this platform, having real conversations about real stories with real people who are offering solutions and value to our community. And one of the stories, or so many of the stories I love to tell, are African stories told from an authentic perspective by us for us, because who's going to tell our stories if we
Mm-hmm.
don't? What we see in the media, yes, they tell African stories, but honestly, to me, I feel like if it's not coming from us, then it's not authentic. Because a lot of the realities that we have to deal with as immigrants, a lot of the realities that we have to deal with as Africans is not told in the light in which we experience it. So now I'm really excited to have you here with teen dating violence awareness. What role do you believe that you can play as a leader to help us spread this message, to create more real-time adaptable solutions from your perspective? Because this is an issue that directly impacts you, especially being a female teenager.
So honestly, dealing with this, especially in high school and all that, it's really difficult just because it's like when it's coming from you, like a teenager to another teenager. So like it's like from eye to eye, we're looking at this from eye to eye, like with another, like one of my other like friends or something. It's harder to like, well, I actually know it's easier because it's like now we're seeing, like we see the same thing. Whereas, it's kind of harder when an adult's telling your friend or like someone else, like, what, like, no, like, this isn't good, this relationship isn't good, that's not good, and all that. But it's like, you don't understand, you're not in the same place that I am. But I can tell my friend and be like, okay, hey, this isn't the type of relationship you want, because like, because I'm seeing it, and then we're both like, we're on the same level and all that. So for me, I feel like I feel like I have an important role, or any other teenager has a great role in this, like, because we're able to level with each other and understand each other, where we're coming from. So yes, I understand you're going through this, but this person's not helping you with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're on the same level and we can understand each other. So I feel like that's how me personally, I can like help with this situation with teen dating violence. So yeah.
So what are some of the signs that you would say you would, so if you're going to help somebody, you have to come at them, and this is one of the things that I share with you guys, a lot of our youth that work with us. I tell you guys to come from a position of knowledge. That means you know exactly what you're talking about. What are some of the signs that you can point out and share with your peers in case you identify a situation to say, these are the signs? Because it's hard when you're telling someone this situation is not good for you. You have to go deeper and say, this is why. These are some of the things that I see. And you have to be able to convince them without a shadow of doubt to say, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, what are some critical signs as a teenager that you would identify in negative relationships that you can use as a tool to educate your peers to help them avoid these situations that we're talking about?
Okay, so one thing that I'll say is that teen dating violence it's not always physical violence. It's not. And it's not always just one person doing something. It can literally be both of y'all. It's both of y'all doing bad. Like, it's like the whole relationship is just toxic on both sides. Yeah. So that's one thing that I'll say, because a lot of times we have that misconception that it has to be physical and it has to be one person's the victim or something like that. And really, that's not the case. And most of the time, the most common trait that I see is just, I feel like we start to, especially nowadays, we normalize verbal abuse on both sides. Like, we think it's like okay to like call each other names. And
why is that so though? With your generation, it's like name calling and just degrading, calling people out their names is just normal. It's a part of culture. It's an abnormal norm, by the way. It's not normal, but I think your generation has embraced it. Why? Is it the culture? Is it music? Is it entertainment? What is really instigating those behaviors with your peers?
So during the conference, I think I remember mentioning like pop culture is one of the big. I feel that pop culture is one of the biggest influences on that, because through music, and not only music, like through what we see like on Instagram and all that with like famous people and all that, we get so used. We've gotten used to like degrading words as a way of embracing who you are. And for me personally, I wouldn't want anybody using any type of degrading words to describe me, just because I feel like, when you grow to know who you are more, you start to have this confidence, and it's like, you can't call me this, like, because that just doesn't make sense. That's not what the word means. I'm saying so. And so we start to create our own definitions for words. So if a word has a word that has a degrading meaning, we can start saying, oh, well, now this is how we're going to use this word. We're going to use it as a way to, uplift ourselves and all that, which is okay. Like, I get the idea of wanting to uplift yourself and all that, but there's different words to use, you know what I'm saying? So we start to really just we start to change the definition of things that aren't really good into our own definition.
Well, what about emojis? I know you guys are big on emojis. And I know that regular emojis to me, I've learned that they mean something different to you guys.
Yes, yes. So it's literally the same concept. So something that like has a totally different meaning, we change into different art to something that we can interpret. Like that's like our way of like, this emoji means this. And so that's how we're gonna use it. So same thing, like if a degrading word has like this specific definition, we're gonna change that and make it into our own so we can, I feel like we have this mentality that we can't it's not gonna go away, but we can change it into what we want it to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a mentality that like a lot of teenagers have, that it's not gonna go away, it's not gonna disappear, but let's just make it into our own thing now.
I'm glad that you said it's not gonna go away. But one thing that you and I can agree on is the fact that even though it's not going to go away, we can be conscientious and we can be, the ones that are the voice of reason, the voice of hope. And that is why I am so excited and so honored to have you partner with me among several other young people that you met, in December, who spoke with you on the stage. And I'm looking forward to our conference in 2021, hoping that you will be honored to come back and even speak on a bigger scale. So super excited. But I'm so glad that you are out there doing the work, being a leader, being a great example for a young female teenager, African, American, Black, beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant, intelligent, educator, advocate. Oh my God. The sky is the limit, Marika. And I must say that I am super proud of you. And I am looking forward to doing some amazing things with you now and in the future. But thank you so much for coming on the show today. We are going to round up right now, but I want you to share your information. How can people reach out to you? They hear you speak here, and they've heard that you've spoken on our stage. And I'm actually just assuming and presuming that there's going to be more invitations for you to speak on bigger stages. So how can people connect with you?
So on you can contact me through Instagram. That's somewhere like I'm really big on. Like I'm just like not big on like I'm popular or anything, but that's just where I am most of the time. So Marika, it would be at Maurecia Bessman, Maurecia Bessman, Bessman. So that's the big place I am right now. And then Facebook, same exact thing, just the space in between. So yeah.
Cool, Vince. So what African country do you represent, just for the sake of our audience?
So I'm from Liberia, LIB, yes, West Africa.
Yes, West Africa, yes, amazing. Yes, so she represents Liberia, she represents West Africa, she represents Africa, but she represents Black women everywhere. And this is Black History Month. So big ups to you, Marika. Thank you once again for coming on the show with me tonight. And I cannot wait to have you back again, hopefully for the same topic or another topic. Or feel free to let me know when you want to jump in with me. I'm always open to having my young people. Like I told you guys, I enjoy working with young people more than adults. You guys are so much easier to deal with, and I love you. Good luck in your educator journey. Good luck as you get started educating people, and look forward to having you again. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, darling. Wow, where did the time go? February is all done, and I am so sad to see February go. But guess what? That means March is on the way, and the month of March, oh my God, it's going to be all about women. Like, this is the time of women, and I cannot wait for you guys to see all of the amazing conversations that I'll be having with several wonderful female leaders in March. But for the month of February, as we wrap up Black History Month, once again, I want to ask you, how does your Black life matter? Ensure to be mindful every single day to engage your gifts in adding value to humanity. That is one sure way that your life, not just as a Black person, not just as a person of color, but as a human being, period. That is one sure way that your life will definitely matter and make an impact in the world around you. Now, if you haven't purchased my book, King of My Gifts, what are you waiting for? It's available on Amazon, paperback, Audible, ebook. Come on, you have so many options. This book is definitely intentional for such a time as this. You need this book to really to understand the importance of expressing your gifts every single day. And if you're not sure what your gifts are, we also have a workbook for you, Your Journey into Purpose. King of My Gifts, the workbook. It's available on Amazon as well. It's your personal journal that is going to help guide you on a step-by-step module to discovering what your gift is, but most importantly, to walking in purpose every single day. Thank you guys so much for the love and support that you have shown my brand, shown the platform, and shown this progress on this project so far. I could not have done all of this without you. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So until next time, I cannot wait to see you. Don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on, because we are going to be right back in about a week or so. See you next week. It's Dr. Oyinka Solajinadu. Bye.